Okay, let's go.
Well, hi, friends of the Coachella Valley. Jose here from the New Mindset. Now, I want to tell you as much as I can from my next guest, but I only just recently met her. Now, I will tell you this. Her company, Wellness Mode, is located in Indio, California. It is a business that helps people lose weight and gain back their confidence. Now, I'm using that as an umbrella. Obviously, they do way more than that for the community, but it really is about getting your health back and putting your life back in order when it comes to that. So, or at least that's what I understand. Correct me if I'm wrong in a few seconds.
No, that's right. That's right.
Awesome. Well, with us today, we have the owner, Fiorela. Fiorela, thank you so much for being with us.
Yes, of course. My pleasure. So happy to be here too.
So I'm going to just ask you a few questions and hit me with it, right? So let me start off with the biggest one. Are you from the Coachella Valley?
I'm not. I was actually born in Peru. I migrated to the United States when I was only 10 years old. And I grew up in San Fernando Valley, which is the valley that's like 45 minutes from LA. And then I moved out here about 10 years ago. And ever since I've been here, I do never want to go back again.
Yeah, there's something about the valley, huh?
Yes, definitely.
So in Peru, the only thing I know really well about Peruvians is the pisco.
Oh, the alcohol, I know. It's actually similar to like tequila. They come from grapes too. So it's like the wine tequila type of flavor out there, but it's not very tasty to me. I still prefer tequila. It's something about the Mexican food and the Mexican alcohol that's just more appealing.
Well, it is a beautiful country, but so then let me ask you, how old were you when you first came to the States?
So I was 10 years old.
Okay. So 10-year-old, you grew up you grew up a good portion of your life in Peru. Then, what do you remember? What are your memories of that?
Well, unfortunately, not very good memories. The reason why we moved out here was because my dad was an alcoholic. And we were financially well off. My grandma owns restaurants in Peru that are very well known, very famous too, because she treats people like the president, the governor. She has like artists coming through her door. So most of my life, I lived in a split up life because when my dad was coming to my house drunk, my mom and I would pack our stuff and run to my grandma's restaurant where she has a back house there. And, our life was always just about instability. We were just back and forth. I even went to Catholic school. So financially, we were great. But unfortunately, my dad wasn't in a good mental state. And, he pretty much would stop us from doing what we really wanted to do in life. So my mom said, the only way we're going to be able to get away from your dad is if we leave the country.
Well, that's, everybody has an origin story and everyone's is different. Truly, getting yourself away with what's called the cycle of violence is important. Understanding where you came from is also important, and knowing how to get better from there is probably the best piece of information one can help themselves with. So now you came here, your family brought you out here, you were 10 years old, you landed in San Fernando Valley, you said. And
yes.
What high school did you attend, if you don't mind me asking?
I went to Chatsworth High School. That's where I graduated from.
Okay. Did you go to college also, or was it just?
So actually, as soon as I graduated high school, I was illegal. I didn't have a green card, no citizenship, nothing. I flew out here I came into the country legally with my visa tourist. We stayed over the time, lived out here for 8 years illegally. I got married when I was 18 in high school. My high school sweetheart at that time, we got married. I got my green card. And because I didn't want to miss out on the opportunity of having to wait to go to college, I went to vocational school. So that's where I got my nursing license. So it was just 2 years of school that I did out there in the Valley. Okay.
And I just met you recently, but you said that you're a vocational nurse. So you're still an LVN. So you were always an LVN since you were, I don't know if always is the right word, but ever since you were an adult making decisions, you decided to be an LVN. And that's what you've been so far, correct?
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, of course, through high school, I worked at fast food like Taco Bell, Chipotle, always
Right,
in
right.
the food industry. And then as soon as I graduated and I was able to get my green card, first I started with a certified nurse assistant. So while I worked in a hospital setting, I realized like, okay, this is not for me. It's mainly like cleaning up patients and doing, the showers, which was a lot of physical work and very very hard for me to do because I came to this country to be successful, and I was like, hey, I'm over here, cleaning up feces and urine, and I'm like, this is not for me. So
Yeah.
when that gave me a big idea of like, hey, okay, you got to keep moving forward. So that's when I decided to go to nursing school. So while I was working as a certified nurse assistant, I was going through school as well. And then within 2 years, when I was 20, was when I had my nursing license.
So that that path must have taken a lot of effort and sweat and tears.
Oh, yes.
I'm
Working
sure.
full time and going to school full time and doing clinicals and exams each week and having to take like the state test. It was like one of the most fast paced lives I've lived,
Mm,
and definitely made me appreciate everything that I have today.
that's great. I mean, and it's rewarding that sometimes. Uh, I mean, you could testify. It's not just about the goal, but the destination, but the travel, the way you got there is so important. I think.
Yes, no, definitely. I think there's a lot of people that see me today that think like, damn, she has her business and she's lucky, but they don't really know the reason behind it. They don't really know how hard I work to be here today. Like, we live the immigrant life 100%, from living in
Mm,
people's garage to being mistreated by, people that had a green card calling me like, oh, you immigrant, oh, you don't even know how to speak English. Like, I went through all of that, so I completely understand, and it's one of the main reasons why Wellness Mode is so has such a big heart with the Latino community, because that's mainly who my clients are. And those are the
right.
ones that I reached out to them because I understand. I know what it's like, and especially migrating to this country. We all come with just the idea of working hard and making money, and we forget about our health. And that's why our menus and our programs are much more entitled to being um, Hispanic food, So I teach clients
Yeah,
to be
of
like, hey,
course.
you can still eat tortillas and enjoy your food as long as we eat this kind and this amount. So I think that's what's really, my background has really brought a big impact onto what I do today.
That's fantastic. And honestly, it's you're right in saying that in the community we focus on our wants instead of our needs sometimes,
Yes,
which is
100%. Yes.
kind of a hard conversation to have, but it's important to talk about it because it really highlights the fact that when we have these conversations, we start realizing that that's where we're at and we want to make ourselves better. So wellness mode
Yes.
does that for us.
Exactly. Yeah.
That's
So
awesome.
Wellness Mode really focuses on the lifestyle and what's gonna work for them, and that's why we
Cool.
offer 5 different programs.
And before we talk about wellness mode, and I'm going to cut to a quick commercial, but before we do that, could you tell me where you got the idea for it?
Why? Because of me. I've been overweight ever since I moved to this country.
Okay. So you looked at yourself and said, I'm going to change this. And you realized you tried something that did work for you. And so you implemented it for other people.
Yeah, so since I've always been on some sort of diet since I was even in Peru, because I was always a little gordita, and my family always said like, oh, you know what, she's so beautiful, but she needs to lose some weight. And I mean, in Peru, people are very thin. We don't really have a lot of obesity problems. So me being 10, 20 pounds extra was a big deal for my family. So my mom
Mm,
had me on diet since I was over there. She had me going to the gym since I was very small, and she always kept me very active. Which, when we moved out here, she worked a lot, and I was just going to school and unable to cook. She would buy me a lot of frozen, meals, things
yeah.
that were
Yeah.
just cheaper or easier to make. And I started gaining weight, and every year we'd be like, okay, let's try something again to help you lose weight. So I've always been on some sort of diet since I was 10 years old, and it's always been hard to keep it off because you never learn or understand what's the reasons behind of what we eat, right? We just
Yeah.
go on some type of medication, or we go on some acupuncture, or let's do these protein shakes. So there's been just so many diets out in this world that I think I've pretty much done them all.
Oh my
And
gosh.
I've been successful during the diets because I've always been very disciplined with myself. But it always was like, okay, so what happens next? Now that I've lost 20, 30 pounds, what do I do? What do I do to maintain this weight? And that was the reason why I learned ketogenic diets, low carb diets, because I said, you know what, I need to change the main reason why I keep gaining weight. I'm not learning what I have to do to keep it off. And if I don't understand food, and if I don't know the reason behind it, I'm never going to be able to lose the weight and maintain it.
Oh, that's a really good message. And yeah, it's about keeping the weight off. That's probably the hardest part. Well, let's use this moment to take a quick break, a quick commercial. We'll be back in just a few seconds, guys. When we come back, we'll talk about wellness mode and what it is. We'll be right back. Hey, friends of the Coachella Valley, Jose here from the New Mindset. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the noise of life or struggled to find calm amidst the storm, then you really don't want to miss out on the book, Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos by Giovanna Silvestri. Now, this book is a heartfelt guide, blending wisdom, self-discovery, and practical tools to help you navigate the chaos and step into a space of inner peace. And today, Giovanna herself is here to tell you more about it.
My name is Giovanna Silvestri, and I am the author of Confused Girl, Find Your Peace in the Chaos. The premise of my book is that confusion is a virtue, and I take the reader on a journey of understanding how confusion can be the fuel to your self-discovery journey, where you find yourself in a world of infinite possibilities, where your wildest dreams become a reality. You can find my book on Amazon, also on my website, confusedgirlinthecity.com, and you can find me on Instagram at confusedgirlLA.
Thank you guys for listening. I encourage you to pick up the book and begin your own path toward tranquility. Remember, peace isn't a destination. It's a journey. All right, and we're back. So, Fiorella, please take your time in explaining this. I know it's not easy. It's probably going to take a little bit, take your time. But we'd like to know, what is wellness mode and what is it that you do, not just for the community, but for individuals? Tell me anything you'd like to tell me about wellness mode. Go ahead.
Well, Wellness Mode is a wellness program overall. So it doesn't just focus on here's a meal plan, we'll see you next week, let's see how you do. I think the biggest takeaway from my clients is that they have that daily accountability. I think that's what catches people the most, and that's what people tell me. The reason why I was successful is because I knew I had someone there after me every day. So Wellness Mode is basically a ketogenic diet, and a lot of people do have a misconception about keto. A lot of doctors, a lot of people in the medical field understand keto in a different way that I've done. And unfortunately, keto out there, people say it's very high in fat, very low on carbs, not enough protein. But because I am in the medical field, I was able to turn all that stuff around, and I was able to make a program that was filled with a little bit more carbs, actual protein, and less fat, so that way it could help people still be in a good mental state, in a good physical state, so that they can do this program without having to restrict themselves so much. So
right.
That's one thing that's very big about Wellness Mode, because a lot of people think, oh, it's just another keto diet, but it's not. It's very centered around health and the macros, which is, the proteins, the carbs, the fats, to make sure that it all is structured correctly, so that people don't have to overeat or undereat on certain macros. And besides that is that we, the accountability is every morning our clients are sending the picture of their weight. So although I know there's fluctuations, I know how the fluctuations work, and we provide them with the weekly progress as well. So each Monday We write down their weight, we send it to them, and we're like, hey, look, you lost 2-3 pounds this week. Like, it's just another reason to keep going and not to pay attention on the scale every day, right? We have conversations with them. We have questions to ask, like, what was it that it was challenging for you, or what can you do to improve better? And we're all humans. We don't expect these clients to be 100%, but we push them to do the best that they can in every single aspect, whether it's, they're having a hard time with drinking all their water. Okay, let me give you all these solutions so that way you can have your water. Oh, I'm not having, I can't do the snacks every 2 hours. Okay, well, let's put some alarms. Like, every question the client has, we always have an answer for them. And it makes their journey so much more special and unique, because they're saying, wow, like, I really thought I had no way to do this, but now I have so many ways to be able to be successful. And we never judge. We always, if clients fail and they have a day where they ate something they weren't supposed to, a lot of people are afraid of that. The reason why they don't commit is because they think, no, I'm not going to be able to give it my best. And that's okay. We always tell clients, look, the whole thing about you being here is because you are not doing your best with your eating habits. So at least with us, we're able to give you a little more. We're able to teach you a little more, educate you on the food, so that you understand that you can be better. And, at the end, after the 10 weeks of the program, everybody's like, wow, like, I didn't know I could be the best version of myself, and you were able to bring that up in me. And I think that's what's so special about the accountability. And besides that, because I was talking to you about the whole maintenance thing, like, I never know what to eat after. That's like one of the things that Wellness Mode has that a lot of diets don't. Once the clients have gone through their 10 weeks of weight loss, the last 2 weeks on the program, they focus on increasing their calories back up so they don't gain their weight back. So this is where they're eating at a normal set amount of calories, at a normal set amount of carbs. So they're not just leaving our program with, okay, what do I do now? But we showed them how to read the labels. We explained to them, how much sugar, how much protein, how much carbs and calories they should be eating. We explained what they should be eating, they shouldn't be eating. So it really, really is so much education that every person that leaves through my door says, okay, I know exactly what I need to do to be able to maintain my weight and be successful.
Yeah, and it sounds like you're very much one-on-one with the person. Like you follow their path through and through, beginning to end, and then beyond
yes. Oh, yes, 100%. Yeah, I think, like I said, the accountability is the main thing. It's not just like, I think a lot of people think like, okay, I'm just sending my weight every morning, but it's like, no, we have questions. We ask about everything. If the we can tell from the way they text us, like, if they're being short, or they're not really talking to us, like something's going on, right? So, they open up to us. We hear a lot of things like, yeah, my husband's not supportive. Oh, I just have a lot of going on with my kids, or my school's stressful. And we go over all that deep into that, and we have like supplements and vitamins that we recommend for situations, or we tell them like, hey, go to the gym. Like, that's really going to help you. So it's like a therapy. So we're like food therapists.
Yeah, it's all part of changing a person's habits, which takes a lot.
Yes,
it truly. And how many? You were telling me this started a year ago, 2 years ago.
No, I've actually had the business back in 2016. So this is in June. We're gonna celebrate our 9 years of Wellness Mode. Yes.
What? That is awesome. And so, but you only started having help, or not help, hired employees.
So it all started like in my house, and it was actually just my side job, because I was actually working at the school district. So as I am a nurse, I worked at the school district, and it all started because I actually had a friend and at the school, and she was overweight, and we really clicked, and she was just like, hey, like, what do you like to do? And I'm like, well, I love going to the gym because I just finished losing weight. And she's like, oh, I love going to the gym too. And I'm looking at her, and obviously she didn't seem like she was going to the gym because she was overweight. And I was just like, okay. So until we started working out and I saw how hard she was pushing herself, I told her, look, how's your diet? Because the way you work out, you should be obviously losing weight. And she said, yeah, you know what? I think I eat healthy. I think I eat salads and I eat this. And I was just kind of like, okay. So I told her, I'm like, let me write a meal plan for you so that way you can lose weight. And it all just started with that. It was just helping her realize how a salad with a lot of ingredients is not going to help you lose weight, but a
Right.
salad with the right amount of food, the right amount of portion. So I actually just wrote these menus for her out of my heart because I wanted to help her out. She lost 30 pounds in 10 weeks. And she was like, this is so amazing to realize that, like, I just thought like lettuce, tomato, onions, and chicken would help me lose weight, but never realized the portion. And from there, apparently she knew a lot of people here in the valley. So I had just moved out here. She posted her before
Wow.
and after pictures on her social media. And ever since that day, it's never stopped.
That's amazing. And yeah, you know what's funny in the valley? I have always joked that if you throw a rock out in the air and hit someone, you're probably gonna know that's someone. So be careful when you go to your next event. It's just this,
Yes,
and
it's
the cool
true.
part is that we're all one Coachella Valley, and we're all very much
Mhm.
close to each other. I think that's why people decide to stick around here. Um,
Yes.
well, that's amazing. So you're located now in Indio, and I was asking you about maybe you'd expand somehow, and not to go into too much detail, we're definitely going to help you with that. But I'm excited to, and I'm happy to say this on air. I don't mind. I'm excited to start my journey with you guys fairly soon, and I feel like it's going to be very rewarding. It honestly is something to look forward to. I'm very excited for it, believe it or not.
Oh, yes, I'm excited because a lot of people are very closed-minded when it comes to dieting. They think they have to give up a lot of the things that they eat now. And that's what another thing about wellness was, that we're like, you don't have to give up the things that you like. We're gonna switch over to show you that you could do things differently and you could still have some of the things that you love in a healthier version, and like for yourself, I know you're a very busy man, and we work with everybody. It doesn't matter if you are a stay-at-home mom or you work a 9 to 5 job and you have kids and you have sports. We're all busy, and I feel like a lot of people are scared to do something because they don't have the time. But just like I've mentioned before, we have 5 different programs. All those programs are accustomed to what kind of lifestyle they have, or what kind of cooking skills they have, or what kind of foods they like. And that's what makes Wellness Mode so flexible for anyone that thinks they can do it,
Yeah.
be able to do.
Well, I will tell you that I agree, because most people don't know how to stop their habits. And the first thing I asked, I mean, the one question I asked that was the most important to me was, I like Coke Zero. Can I still have Coke Zero? And you said yes. And I said, sign me up. I don't care about anything else. I'll drop everything else. I do not care. Anyways,
Yeah, it's
I
yours.
love
Yeah.
it. You're awesome. On that note, let's cut to this next commercial. When we come back, let's hear about the future and what's going on. We'll be right back. Are you looking for a place where great coffee meets incredible music? Welcome to Little Street Music Hall, located at 82707 Miles Avenue in Indio, California. At Little Street Music Hall, they blend the perfect cup of coffee with a stage of indie bands to shine. Whether you're a music lover or a musician looking for a big break, there's something just for you. Join the community and support this vibrant venue. Little Street Music Hall provides a welcoming space for everyone to connect, unwind, and enjoy fantastic live performances. It's more than just a coffee shop, it's where your next favorite band is discovered. Want to be a part of the upcoming events and shows? Follow them on Instagram at little_street_music_hall. And for more updates, also check out at avenida_music. So grab your friends, savor some delicious coffee, and experience the magic of live music at Little Street Music Hall, where every sip and every note is a step towards a vibrant community. Little Street Music Hall. Coffee, community, and culture. See you there. And we're back here with Wellness Mode CEO, Fiorela. Fiorela, what's your last name?
My last name, which one? Because I have so many last names.
Ándale. That was it. That's exactly what I was asking. Dije, pues, ¿cuál? Which one is it?
So my husband now, his last name is Guzman, but I was born Fiorela Villacorta.
Okay, that's cool. Honestly, the reason I ask is because I love our Latino roots, and having our last name is kind of crucial. And they
Yes.
each mean something. It's important. It's important for people to know, like, hey, I'm proud of my roots. It's always good to
Yes,
hear
of
that.
course. Yeah, I think that's the main. I think as we as Latino community are make a huge impact here in the United States. We work hard,
Yeah.
and we all see it everywhere. You definitely walk into a construction zone, and all our Hispanics are the ones that are working hard. And without us, I don't think this country would be where it's at today.
Preach it, girlie. Preach it. So now let's talk about the future of wellness mode. When I ask you about the future, like what's going on tomorrow and the week, what's their next month look like, year? Like, what's your plan? How's this growing? Tell me as much or as little as you want to share. Go ahead.
Well, I think the main thing right now that my focus is on is helping out those that can't financially afford us, right? And that doesn't mean they don't have enough money to pay the $40 a week, but it just means the money that they're earning is focused on other stuff. And when we are very sick, we have our doctors prescribing a lot of medications instead of prescribing a diet, instead of prescribing a lifestyle change. So my job now is to talk to doctors, get the word out there, hopefully get insurance to cover wellness mode so that those in need that really can't pay for it, or those in need that say, hey, if I can save myself some money on the weekly fees, then I could really spend the money on, the groceries, which of course they're so expensive now. So,
Right. Yeah.
So I just think having that as an option where, a doctor says, hey, let's join wellness mode, and the patient says, well, I can't afford it now, as in, okay, your insurance will cover for it. I think it's going to be such a huge eye opener for a lot of them, and it's going to help a lot of those that can't afford it.
That's a huge thing, because being able to have any sorts of assistance when it comes to the financial ability of things, it helps kind of allow for certain decisions, like being able to focus on your wellness and activate that mode.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So that's my mission this year. I'm hoping, I did start talking to, prior to meeting you, I was already speaking to one of our doctors here in the Coachella Valley. She's actually currently doing my program and has heard of me since I've started. And she's sent me patients without even knowing me, because she would see the lab work results at the end of their program. And, we finally reached out. I've talked to her for like about 5 years now. And this year she said, hey, you know what? If you need help with the insurance, I could be the doctor to refer them to them, because that's the way it works. Like, I can't just cover insurance. It has to be referred by a doctor, right? So, she kind of started things up. She kind of gave me an eye opener of like how the whole thing is. Now it's just finding the right people to help me actually go through the process.
Yeah. I mean, that honestly, you met the right people. I'm not going to go too much into detail, but we, there is a need for this in the Valley. There's a need for this in our community. And there are places and locations and people that are going to be willing to sit with you and talk about all the programs and what it could do to benefit. And sometimes, Fiorela, sometimes it's just putting yourself out there. Doing this podcast may seem like just an interview, but honestly, people are listening right now that are going to go, oh man, maybe I should look into this, And
yes.
It's important. It's important for something of the caliber that you're doing to be put out there so that people are more aware of it. That's actually
cool. I'm happy if that happens. I mean, that would be a huge blessing to us, and I'm ready for it. I'm ready to take on as many people that need it as to cure those that are dependent on medications or that feel sick or that can't do certain things, because it's just being overweight is very huge. And I don't think a lot of people understand it, because if you don't have that problem with food, you're kind of like, whoa, you judge and you say like, wow, how is this person 200, 300 pounds? But then a lot of them come from a trauma. And that's something that I really understand, that they just don't gain weight because they love food. They gain weight because something happened at home when they were younger, or something happened as a teenager or as an adult. And we start to look at food as a way to feel better. And the food industry has really done a good job by putting the right ingredients into the food to make it addicting. And that's the type of chain that we need to break. And those are the things that we focus as a business to help those realize like, hey, this food is really bad for you because it does this and that, So having to help people and being able to help them to be able to live a better lifestyle is just such a such a huge thing. People here in the valley are
Yeah.
very nice, and if they are healthy, they're going to be even nicer.
Yeah, actually, yeah, you're right. Everybody in the valley is super nice. So
Yes.
wow, yeah, you're right. Those are cool goals to have. Well,
Yes, no, definitely.
with that on the rear, we're not on the rear, we're actually looking forward. So, let's move on to so this is the one part I never tell any of my guests, right? This is kind of like the last segment we talk about. So we're going to cut the commercial. When we come back, we're going to go into our pearls of wisdom. So before we do that, let me explain to you really quick. The pearls of wisdom is basically a quick guide. Like Fiorella, there's no 5 steps to get into what you do. That doesn't exist. I've never known anybody that can be like, oh yeah, if you do A, B, C, and D, you get there. You're fine. It's perfect.
Mm-hmm.
That's not how it works. Being successful or having a competent company is not something you come by easy. And so there are many ways that maybe you can advise somebody in getting into this type of field, into this type of company, and to own one day. What was the process of that? I don't know. And maybe you can help us with that. So let's go to a quick commercial. When we come back, we'll just hear your quick guide or steps on how we can become successful like you have. We'll be right back.
Hey, friends of the Coachella Valley. Ready to make a real difference in someone's life? Stay tuned to hear how you can help create positive change in our community. Your support can truly make an impact.
Voices for Children is seeking volunteers known as court-appointed special advocates or CASAs who advocate for children in foster care to ensure their needs are met as they navigate the foster care system. Learn more and register for a volunteer information session at speakupnow.org.
Thanks for listening, and a big thank you to Voices for Children for sharing their important message. Now, let's get back to the show.
Well, hi, friends of Coachella Valley. We're back here for the very last segment. I love this part. Pearls of Wisdom is brought to you by a fun story you all already know about my little brother, Eric, wanting to become a DJ. And Fiorella, I'll have to tell you that story another time. That's a fun one. So,
nice.
Like I said, there's not really, I think people often think, if I just knew the steps on how to make $1 million, I take those steps every day. Really, that's not how it works, right? Reaching goals isn't about money. It isn't about, it could be about something else. Personal happiness is very different. But you have created a program that's obviously successful and your company continues to grow. So you've met some of that success already. Is there any way you can tell our listeners, hey, if you just kind of start on this path, you can find your way along my side, or we can run parallel to each other? What would that be for you? What would you think that is a good advice for someone?
I think definitely to build a business, you have to think about passion. You definitely don't want to think money. I had the passion to do this because I saw many different positive things in my health. So I also suffer of bipolar disorder. And because of the way the food changed me, it helped me stay away from medication. And that was my biggest drive. My biggest drive was myself wanting to be healthy, wanting to be successful, wanting to reach out to the community and say, hey, you don't have to take this medication if you truly, truly follow the steps of having a healthy lifestyle. So for me, I think if you are trying to build a business because your focus is just to become a millionaire, I think that's very hard. But if you open a business with the focus of, you know what, I really want to help people be successful, it just all kind of comes to you. And I have absolutely no education on being a business owner. I have my degree just in nursing. You would think I have a bachelor's in business administration or something.
Actually, you did great. What the heck?
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing for me, because I've done all my work with a big heart, with an open heart, with giving somebody something and never asking for it in return. I think that has been my biggest blessing. And honestly, like if I think of all the steps that I've gone through with being where I am today, it's all because of the people that have helped me got there. I have never done something by myself and been like, okay, let me walk into this office and say, hey, I want to do these injections. I want to do this program. How can I grow? I've never done that. It's always been just, I've done something to help someone and they said, hey, you know what? I know how to do this. So let me help you to get to that next step.
Wow.
And it mainly was most of my clients because, I started very small. I was just working from home. And I had someone that did taxes do my program, and they said like, hey, do you have a license, like your LLC? And I'm like, what is that? I'm like, what do you mean? They're like, yeah.
Right,
So like,
right.
once you start making a lot more money, you have to have a license for your business, and you have to have this and you have to have that. And I was like, oh shoot, like, okay. It was like a big eye opener, because I didn't think I was just going to be that big. It was just kind of like the money on the side, a little extra money in there. So that person drove me into learning how to get my business license and what I had to do next, and how you become an LLC, and how to write, do all my expenses. So that was just one person, and then I've helped another client tell me like, hey, you know what? Like, there's a place here on Country Club that is only $100 for you to rent a space. You should check it out, so that way you're not working from home anymore. So that's what I'm telling you. It's just been people that have come to me for my program, and somehow probably the way it has helped them. They said, hey, you know what? Let me tell her what she can do to go above, climb that ladder. And that was definitely a big part of how Wellness Mode is where it is today. It's just been people giving me their hand.
That's pretty. I'm one of those people. I feel like you're right. And you know what it is? And if I'm having this first world experience with you because, I'm having this firsthand experience with you because you could say that I fall into that category where it's the way you carry yourself, your attitude in the program, the way it reads. It has so many useful needs in the community, and anybody that's willing to help the community before themselves is going to look out for you because it's what you're doing. You're absolutely 100% doing that. So first of all, I want to say thank you for doing the work. Thank you for everything you're accomplishing. Please continue to do so. I mean, obviously, this is a cornerstone of a grander building. And when you finally finish building, you never finish building anything. I'll tell you that. That's something I've learned even through this podcast. It just never ends. And it's great. That's awesome. Yeah. Especially if you love it, you fall in love with it, and you fall in love with the people surrounding it. That's fantastic. Well, now, before we sign off, let me ask you, what is the best way to get a hold of you or to find Wellness Mode? And can you give us where you're located or a good phone number to reach? Go ahead.
Yeah, of course. So I think right now our biggest factor is social media. I think everyone nowadays has our Instagram and Facebook. So where I'm very, very active, I handle all my social media. So it's at Wellness Mode on Instagram and then Wellness Mode on Facebook. I post there daily, everything, all our information is there. Our location, we're actually off right where Fantasy Spring is on Avenue 42 and Golf Center. So we're right there on the corner where the Heat Stroke tattoo place is, which a lot of people know. So we're right there in that plaza. And the best way to reach us, so we are open Monday through Friday from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. Text message is the best way to reach us since we are working on our computers and the phone is just sitting there. And, if they text us, we're able to reply a lot faster. And if they want a phone call, we call our people inquiring or clients and so on. So our number is 760-902-8044. And, we're only a text message away or a DM away from our Instagram or Facebook. And we hope to hear from everybody that's ready to start their new lifestyle.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you for the contact information. And again, thank you for your time. I'm just going to tell you this because I love telling people this. Could you believe we've been sitting here for about 40 minutes?
Oh, wow.
Is that crazy? I know. Once you put it in perspective, man, time flies. Time is essential.
Yes.
Well,
definitely.
I want to invite all my listeners to don't waste time and come in, check out Wellness Mode, go on their Instagram page. The success rate is insane. I mean, I've followed it, I've seen it, and I'm about to go through the journey myself. So I'll make sure to let you guys know how it goes. But I'm very confident that it will be very successful.
Yes,
Fiorela,
you're gonna do great.
I'm excited for it. I can't wait. So Fiorela, I'm very happy to have taken some of your time. I hope it wasn't too much.
Oh, no, not at all. It was a pleasure.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much. And to all of you listening tonight, have a great night. If you're listening to us this morning on your commute, have a great day. Bye-bye.